Have you ever wondered what would happen if every NFL team made the playoffs? Well, today, guys, I've taken the liberty to create a 32-team NFL Madness bracket, and I'm going to be simulating it on Madden. You can see all of the matchups, the entirety of this bracket outside of the Super Bowl, which I guess in this is the finals, will be home field advantage. So just like the NFL, all of the rounds outside of the Super Bowl will be home field advantage. The Super Bowl will be a neutral site. But I am going to roll through all these matchups, and in this video, I'm going to do all 16 first-round matchups. If you compare this to March Madness and the NCAA tournament, their first round is 64 teams. The second round is 32. So this would be like the second round of the NCAA tournament. Look at this, 1v32. The Baltimore Ravens taking on Carolina. Maybe the upset of the century. We do have the Seattle Seahawks taking on New Orleans. Remember, the higher seed will have home field advantage, so that game will be in Seattle. Philadelphia, the Eagles taking on the Jets at home. Miami will host Atlanta. Detroit will host the Commanders in a 4v29 game. You do have the Buccaneers hosting the Las Vegas Raiders. Maybe an upset potential there. The Buffalo Bills hosting the Chargers. I don't know, the Chargers might have Justin Herbert because this is Madden. Maybe an upset. The Steelers hosting the Denver Broncos. The 2 seed, the San Francisco 49ers hosting the Patriots. That'll be an annihilation you would expect. You do have Cincinnati and Jacksonville 15v18. The Browns and the Giants in Cleveland. You do have Houston hosting the Bears. Dallas, the 3 seed, trying to get revenge on Arizona. We remember like week 2 or week 3, Arizona won at home. Now they travel to Dallas to take on the Cowboys, or to Arlington. And then we do have Green Bay hosting Indianapolis at Lambeau, Kansas City hosting Tennessee at Arrowhead, and then the Rams hosting the Vikings. I'm going to go ahead and start the simulation and just sim through all of these games via Madden. I'm not going to play in them or anything, but let's kick it off. All right, and then for just the settings I'm going to do, obviously I'm going to set it to 15 minutes. This is just going to be me simulating the game, but we'll just leave it at 1 o'clock for now. I do think I am going to want to make it some funky weather for a few games, but I really don't want to manipulate, a 1v32 matchups. I think, we'll leave it at clear and 1 o'clock. It's a bad game. We know it's going to be a blowout. Come on. We're just going to immediately go to Super Sim, and we're just going to simulate the entire game. We would expect Baltimore to win. They're already up 7-0 in the first quarter, 14-0 mid-second quarter. Yeah, Baltimore is not going to have a crazy 1v32 upset happen. 21-0, 28-0, possibly a shutout. No, you give Carolina credit for getting on the board. Kind of a crappy first game, honestly. 28-7, the final score. All right, so the next game we have, theoretically, it's the most even matchup. 16v17, Seattle hosting New Orleans. This game is being played at 4:25 in light snow. Just an FYI on that. But let's just jump forward to the end of the game and see who ends up winning it. Some nice snowfall there. Seattle up quickly. New Orleans in the snow comes back. And we've got a nice even game into the second quarter. Looks like it's 10-7 going into the third quarter. New Orleans, Seattle, back and forth. New Orleans is up. Seattle with a touchdown. This is a great game. New Orleans ties it at 24. Seattle with a touchdown. And another touchdown late. Congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks. What a game. 38-24. Geno Smith goes for 315. And they beat New Orleans. They will be moving on and traveling to Baltimore in the next round. All right. We are on to the next matchup. It is the Eagles hosting the New York Jets, an 8v25 game. This game will be played in Philadelphia at 1 o'clock. In windy, overcast conditions. Let's take a look and see what the simulator says. Philadelphia starting off, scoring a touchdown quickly into the first quarter, another field goal. The Jets get on the board, maybe bidding for an upset. We'll see. Close game, still 10-7. Philadelphia, another field goal into the fourth quarter. Philadelphia gets a 2-point conversion, and it seems like a very easy 21-7 victory. They advance and they move on. Let's take a look at the overall numbers. Zach Wilson, ouch, 103 yards. Not a good game from Zach Wilson. And at the final score, 21-7. The next game, it is the number 9 overall seed Miami Dolphins hosting the 24-seeded Atlanta Falcons. This game played in Miami at Hard Rock Stadium, 4:25 start time, very hot and humid, also clear in this game. We would expect Miami to win it, but we will see as we begin. Miami already scoring a touchdown early, 14-0 into the second quarter. All right, Atlanta tries coming back. We'll see. Still 14-7, 21-7 late in the third quarter. Atlanta with a late touchdown with the ball driving, and we're tied at 21. Miami scores another touchdown. Tied at 28 going to overtime. Atlanta with the ball. They score a field goal. Miami comes back with a field goal. And Atlanta, oh my goodness, what a shocker that is. Atlanta with a shocking victory in an epic game. Taylor Heineke goes for 397 and 4 touchdowns as the Atlanta Falcons win in overtime, trailing throughout much of it. Wow. What that game took forever, it seemed like. 34-31, Atlanta will face Philadelphia. The next matchup, it is the number 4 overall seeded Detroit Lions taking on the Washington Commanders, coming in at the 29 seed. This game starting at 4:25. It will be played at Ford Field. That is a dome, so obviously the weather doesn't matter, but we're going to simulate this with Detroit as the big favorites. But Washington comes out, scores a touchdown, maybe a higher scoring game, 10-7. Detroit back, really back on forth into the second half, 21-17. 28-17. Looks like Detroit's taking control, but a 2-point conversion. Washington, they had the ball for a while, and Detroit ends up winning a higher scoring affair, 28-25 in this one. You did have Sam Howell go for 263, Jared Goff 299, 3 touchdowns, and Detroit just barely hangs on, and they will be moving on. The next game, it is the 13-seeded Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Las Vegas Raiders. This is a 1 o'clock game taking place in Florida. Heat index of 101, completely clear out. I think Vegas, the 20 seed, they might be the favorites in this game on the road. We will see, and we will jump forward to the end of the game in this one. It is Vegas and Tampa Bay. Vegas with an early touchdown. This is a good Vegas team. They are. Still 7-0. Vegas with the ball. 14-0. 17-0 into the third quarter. Baker Mayfield choking. What happened to Tampa Bay? Vegas up easily. 20-3. And what a win for Las Vegas. Wow. That's impressive. An impressive, imposing victory by the number 20 seed. Aiden O'Connell goes for 192 and a touchdown. Horrible quarterback play. This was just a terrible game in general, but you'll take it. Las Vegas moves on. They win 20-3. And we've got another matchup here. It is the Buffalo Bills, the number 5 seed, hosting the LA Chargers, sitting as the number 28 seed. This game happening in New York. It will be taking place at 1 o'clock in light snow conditions. Going to be very hard for the Chargers traveling West Coast to East Coast. 1 o'clock game in the snow. They are the 28 seed. They're going to be up against it in this one. It looks like Buffalo had a really quick turnover and a touchdown, already up 14-0. The Chargers get a field goal. Buffalo responds late in the second quarter, 24-3. 24-6 going into the third quarter. All right, the Chargers coming back a little. Not really. 38-13. Maybe a 40-burger. There it is. Higher scoring game. Wow. And the final score in the snow, 41-20. What a game. Josh Allen goes for 269 and a touchdown. Easton Stick of all people, 261 and a touchdown. Or Josh Allen had 2 touchdowns. Gabe Davis had 8 catches for 133. This game was not close. This was a typical Buffalo home annihilation in the snow, 41-20, and they will be moving on. The next matchup we have, it's a 4:25 start. The Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the Denver Broncos. Pittsburgh coming into this game as the number 12 overall seed. Denver probably around 5 or 6 point underdogs in this matchup, coming in as the number 21 seed. The winner will travel to Buffalo. We're going to go ahead and super sim this game to the end in clear conditions. Pittsburgh already up 10-0 early first into the second quarter. Denver needs a response. They got stopped on 4th down, it looks like. into the third quarter, still only 10-0. Denver getting shut out in this game in clear conditions. This is embarrassing. This is sad to see. Pittsburgh with a late field goal, 24-0. Are you kidding me? Wow. Well, you bench Russell Wilson, you start Jarrett Stidham. This is just horrible, horrible football to watch. 24-0. Pittsburgh pretty much scoring all of their points in the second half. You'll take it. You'll take the shutout victory. And how about that? It's Pittsburgh versus Baltimore in the next round. That's the exact wildcard rematch we're getting. A little interesting there. Moving on to the bottom half of the bracket, the next matchup we have, this one's going to get real ugly, you would expect. It's the 2 seed San Francisco 49ers taking on the Patriots. San Francisco is at home. This is a 1 o'clock Pacific start time. It is going to be clear in this game, and this game, batten down the hatches for that. This is going to be an ugly game. I'm expecting this to not be very close. San Francisco with the ball first. Immediately they score. New England mounted a drive there, 7-7 now, late into the second quarter. Third quarter, only 10-7. Could we get a crazy upset on our hands? Oh my goodness, Kyle Shanahan. Oh, now, looks like they've taken control, and they end up winning. Closer than expected. New England had a chance there late in the second quarter, but San Francisco, Brock Purdy, really not a good game, 169. Zappe had better yardage and one more touchdown. McCaffrey goes for 75 yards. Ayuk, 6 catches, 73 yards. Not an inspiring performance there from the 49ers, though. They do win. They will be advancing 26-14, survive and advance. The next matchup, it is the 15-seeded Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Jaguars, with Jacksonville traveling to Cincinnati. This is a 1 o'clock start. It is overcast, but there is no precipitation in the forecast. Should be a very even game here, 15-18. Trevor Lawrence coming down the field with a field goal early into the second quarter. Jacksonville up. No Joe Burrow in this one. Jacksonville up 10-0 into the third quarter. Very boring game, 10-3. Cincinnati scores. Jacksonville comes right back. Tied at 17. Cincy with the ball. Oh no, Jacksonville scores there. But Cincy comes back 24-24. Cincy with a late field goal to win it. Wow. What a win for Cincinnati without Joe Burrow. Jake Browning comes back after they were down 10-0 into the third quarter. 2 touchdowns, 254 yards. Trevor Lawrence, 246, 2 touchdowns. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins both go for around 90 yards. Joe Mixon really struggled, but Cincinnati, the number 15 seed, will be moving on. The next matchup, we do have the number 7 overall seed Cleveland Browns taking on the Giants. The Giants traveling to Cleveland Browns Stadium. This game happening at 4:25. Sunny, frigid, cold conditions. The Browns coming in as the favorites with Joe Flacco. They march down the field and immediately score. The Giants coming back with a field goal with Tyrod Taylor. The Browns up 7-3 late in the second. 14-3, 17-3 going into the third. The Browns with the ball again. And they get stopped on 4th and goal there. It shouldn't matter. The Browns with their smothering defense with a very commanding 17-3 win. Kevin Stefanski wants to start off his run. What a boring game. Nobody even scored in the second half. 17-3, the Browns advance. Joe Flacco, 194. Amari Cooper, 3 catches. Browns use their defense to smother the Giants. Matchup, it is the upstart 23-seeded Justin Fields-led Chicago Bears traveling to Houston to take on the young rookie C.J. Stroud and the number 10 overall seed Houston Texans. This game will be played in a dome. The roof is closed. It's a 4:25 start. We're gonna go ahead and just simulate this entire game. Should be a good young battle here between these two QBs. Chicago up 3-0. Houston responds with a touchdown. Chicago with a touchdown, 10-7, and the ball into the third quarter. Maybe an upset here. CJ Stroud needs to come back, tied at 10. Houston with a touchdown in the fourth quarter. Chicago responds. Houston with another touchdown. Chicago ties it up into overtime. Houston with the ball, and they end up kicking a field goal at the end. That could have been a tie. There was like no time left on the clock there. Wow. The Houston Texans get it done. What a good game that was. Could have been a crazy upset, 27-24. A battle of Ohio State quarterbacks. And you had Noah Brown go for 7 for 88. Singletary goes for 121. Houston advances. The next matchup, we have the number 3 overall seed Dallas Cowboys at home against the Arizona Cardinals, a rematch of an early season matchup. We would expect Dallas to win this game easily. 1 o'clock start time. The roof is open, so a very rare time, AT&T Stadium with the roof open. We're just going to simulate this game. Would expect a big Dallas victory. Dallas with the ball right now into the second quarter already, scoring a safety 2-0. 9-0 now. Wow, I can't believe they scored a safety into the third quarter. Dallas pitching a shutout, up 17-0. They get a 2-point conversion, 24-0 into the fourth quarter. Will the Cardinals? Yes, the Cardinals end up scoring a touchdown, but a very boring, uneventful game there. Dallas with an early safety to propel them, and they win 24-6. Dak Prescott only 151. Kyler Murray goes for 196, a touchdown. Late, gets a garbage time touchdown, but Dallas, they will be moving on with an easy victory. The next matchup, we have the frozen tundra Lambeau Field. The 14 seed Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love taking on the Indianapolis Colts. This game being played at 4:25 in light snow conditions / blizzard conditions. I'm kidding. You can't even set it to blizzard conditions in this. It's just light snow. But still, some nice weather here. Green Bay with the ball. A little 4:20. Green Bay scoring early. This is going to be a tough game for Indianapolis. We'll see if they can come back. Already down 14-0, 21-0 as it turns to nighttime. Green Bay putting it on Indianapolis. Indianapolis with a touchdown there. Another touchdown. They need an onside kick or something. And Green Bay with a very impressive 31-14 win as the snow falls. Jordan Love goes for 2 touchdowns. Christian Watson has a nice game. Aaron Jones, they leaned on him pretty heavily. 84 rushing yards there. And the Colts were just completely shut out throughout the first 3 quarters. Green Bay moves on 31-14. The next matchup we have, it is the 6 overall seed Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes hosting the Tennessee Titans at Arrowhead. This game being played at 1 o'clock. It will be sunny, completely clear in this one. We're going to go ahead and simulate it. We would expect Kansas City to be the relatively big favorites, but Tennessee with a field goal. Will Levis, they're already down 10-3 though. Will Levis comes back with a touchdown. Kansas City and Mahomes up. Now we're tied going into the third quarter. Higher scoring game. Kansas City up by 7 going into the fourth quarter. Another field goal. And looks like the Chiefs are going to win this game. But a decent performance there by Tennessee. They end up losing 34-24. Mahomes goes for 352 and 3 touchdowns. Will Levis, 3 passing touchdowns, 188 yards. The Chiefs will be moving on. Final matchup of the first round. It is the Minnesota Vikings, the number 22 overall seed, traveling to LA to take on the Rams, the 11 seed. This game taking place at 6 o'clock at night. So when the Super Bowl would start, a very weird start time for a first round game. But we will see here the Rams being the favorites in this one. And they march down the field, immediately score. They've got the ball again. Minnesota now with the ball tied at 7 late into the second quarter. The Rams with a field goal. Minnesota now up 21-10 into the third quarter. The Rams get a 2-point conversion, 3-point game going into the fourth quarter. The Rams with a long touchdown. They've got the ball late in the fourth, and they end up winning 25-21 over Minnesota in the final first round matchup. Matt Stafford goes for 324. Cooper Kupp goes for 148. And the LA Rams will be advancing with a close win there. So just recapping the first round, all of the scores have been inputted into the tournament. You can see the Ravens, the number 1 overall seed, dispatching of the Panthers 28-7. They will face the Seahawks in the second round. The Seattle Seahawks in a snow game beat New Orleans, higher scoring game 38-24. Philadelphia, windy game, no nonsense, 21-7 win over the Jets. They will be taking on the Atlanta Falcons, who got an overtime shocking upset victory over the number 9 overall seed. That was one of the biggest upsets of the first round. Detroit beats Washington just barely 28-25. They will be taking on the Raiders. The Raiders, the lower seed, hammer the Bucs 20-3, completely shut them down. That'll be an interesting matchup. You do have Buffalo winning 41-20 over the Chargers. They will be taking on the Steelers, who shut out the Broncos. Moving on to the lower half of the bracket, it is San Francisco over New England, kind of sleepwalking to a 26-14 victory. Cincinnati beats Jacksonville with Jake Browning. That sets up probably another relatively easy game for San Francisco here, facing Jake Browning in Cincinnati. The Browns beat the Giants, their defense at home, in kind of a colder game, 17-3. They will be taking on Houston, so this is a rematch or kind of a wild card matchup, but this game will be in Cleveland because the Browns are the number 7 seed, Houston is the number 10 seed. Dallas beats Arizona 24-6, kind of a boring game. The Packers beat the Colts in Lambeau in the snow 31-14, another rematch there. That game will be at AT&T Stadium in Dallas. Kansas City beats Tennessee by 10. They will be taking on the Rams in the second round. So those are all of the matchups. A few upsets, but overall pretty chalky. And I will be doing the second round. I don't know how I want to split it up. I might decide to make a consolation bracket just to see who the worst team is. Basically, have teams keep playing each other until there's one team remaining that just can't win. It'll probably be Carolina. I don't know if I'll do something like that, but I might just do in the next video just the rest of the bracket because there's really not many games left. But either way, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on X. Link to that's always in the description.